NASCAR E3 is just around the corner now. I think a few weeks away probably from the game releasing. Some more information slash video content has released from Polygon, so I'll leave the original link in the description below if you guys just want to check out the original link. The original clip will also be in this video if you want to wait just like 1 minute. Basically, the video goes through a lot of the smaller details. I'm more of a bigger fan of these kind of videos that touch on these little small details. I think this is really cool. It touches on stories where during a race you can have different outcomes, whether it be someone failing inspection or something like that before a race starts, real life things that happen. Touches on the rival system a little bit for the first time, and something I find pretty interesting, which is the fantasy drivers and stuff like that. Touches on the 360 camera, touches on the setups, touches on the handling and the difficulty a little bit as well. All of that is in this video, so without further ado, roll the clip.
So this year in NASCAR E3, we've spent a lot of time working on the AI. We made the top difficulty levels even more difficult. These AI cars will challenge you. If you give them an inch, they'll take it from you. The pitting experience should be much more realistic this year. So the handling of the cars is more refined. We are aware that if we make every AI car wreck when you tap them, then it would just be a wreck fest, and that wouldn't be fun. But we were able to tighten up like your car's handling model as well, so you're not going to be quite as loosey-goosey as you might have been when you touched that car as you were in years past. We've been able to get more out of our graphics engine to make it more realistic than it ever has. We realized that the garage feature that we have in the game, which is back, but there are a lot of knobs and whistles and gadgets, just a lot to take in. So what we did is we created 9 new pre-setups for our players.
I love that we have those options there for the players that really want to get into the nuts and bolts of how these cars handles. But if you don't, those pre-built setups are so much fun.
Always consider when you're going to a racetrack, especially for the first time, is build your race car with a very stable setup. So you can get out there and you can get some laps underneath your belt, and then you can start to tune on your race car.
NASCAR Heat 3 does have the look around cam and look back camera.
All right, clear outside, clear all around.
One of the biggest things to being a good NASCAR driver is understanding when to brake coming into the turns. Practice mode has been enhanced by the addition of a racing light. What it is just tells you the optimal path to take at each track, and then it also updates real time based on how fast you're going.
If you're tight, sometimes you gotta use the throttle to make it turn, or whatever situation you're in, you can definitely make it work.
It really does help you understand tracks that maybe you've had difficulties with, or even the tracks that are new this year. Stories mode basically is before each race starts, something that might happen in real life will happen to other drivers in the game. You might see something like a driver has failed inspection and got sent to the back of the pack, or you might just see something like, well, this guy's the one who's really hot this weekend and he qualified pole. We brought back Rivalries that we introduced in NASCAR Heat 2. We refined it a great deal, and we put more emphasis on the presentation of it. If you're nice enough to somebody, they will become your friend, and of course, that's how they'll treat you when you're out on the track. If you tick somebody off, they might give you a little nudge when you're out there as well. After you come out of a race, you'll see social media messages from these drivers saying, hey, it was a great race, or you really ticked me off out there. And you have the opportunity to either compliment them or insult them. It gives you more control of who are your friends and who are your enemies out on the track. We're gonna have a bunch of downloadable content again. After the game is launched, these teams continue to run paint schemes, and we offer it as DLC packs. We also have the NASCAR Heat Hot Pass, which gives you access to any DLC content that we put out from the day the game launches all the way through to December.
All clear, side to side. Hold this line. Got all the room you need. Couple more turns.
Alright, let's break it down now. So you guys saw the original clip. Not too much to break down, not too much information, I think, but so just some small details, some cool cinematic shots as well, a little bit of gameplay here and there. Touch on the difficulty first. I am waiting to see if the difficulty is as hard as they want to say it is, if they've raised it up. I think it does need to be much more difficult, so we'll see what they did with that. Again, can't say anything until you play the game, but it looks interesting. Bristol still looks the same, where everyone runs the top 2 lanes. I'm not very happy about that. I think Bristol is probably one of the worst tracks in the game, but we'll see how that works. They talked about the physics a lot in the first part of the game, how when you hit someone, they wouldn't spin out automatically all the time, and that's going to be something that, again, you can't really tell how it's going to be unless you've played it. So I'm still going to wait on that. Just from what I've seen in little just glimpses of how you hit someone, it looks a little bit better. Just the way you hit someone in the rear. Not ideally how I would want it, but it looks better, and we'll see how the way the driving model is. The setups are a little bit interesting. I like that. I like how you can have a stable, a balanced, or a loose race car. I'll probably set mine to loose all the time, but I like that you don't really have to mess with the setups too much if you don't want to, but if you want to, then go ahead. I'm not one that messes with the setups a lot unless I necessarily have to. Like if I'm getting my butt kicked, then I'll mess with the setup. But normally what I like to do and what I like to make good races and entertaining content is have the setup be just around par with everyone else. So that's what I'll be doing, and I like the ability to be able to just kind of pick a setup that's, you know, we have 9 different preset setups, and we'll see how that works. Now, it sounds good in concept, but again, we'll see how it works when we play the game, and hopefully the setups feel a little bit different from a loose setup to a stable setup. I like how they didn't say tight, but they said stable, so you don't want to have a tight race car. That never sounds good, but it's a stable race car. Then they talk about the practice line a little bit, which is again not much to talk about. Then they dive into the stories mode, and this is pretty cool. You have just little weird things that can happen before a race that sends guys to the back. Now this is going to be good for career mode or championship mode, mainly because it will definitely play a part in just the normal point standings or race kind of outcomes. For example, Austin Hill fails the optical scanning station, which is the OSS, and he failed it multiple times, so he started at the back. That's good attention to detail. It's not like, oh, he failed pre-race inspection, he's back. No, they say he failed the OSS, he failed it multiple times, that's why he's going to the back. You know, you fail it one time, and you don't have to go to the back, but failed it multiple times, he's going to the back. I like that detail pretty good. And then Harrison Rhodes has been struggling all weekend. Let's see if he could turn the team around. That's also some good news. Maybe he's starting in the back, as you can see all the cars in front of him, but he's starting in the back, and maybe, you know, do something better. Now, what I hope for, I don't think this is going to happen, but what I hope for is just a little bit of commentary on top of it, very similar to NASCAR Thunder games. What they would do in Thunder 2003 and Thunder 2004 is you would have MRN Radio talk about, well, Jeff Gordon starts on the front row today. He's been really strong this weekend.
2002 was a breakout year for Kurt Busch and his Roush racing team.
That it was. With 3 wins and 10 top 10 finishes, he really showed that he is one of the rising stars in NASCAR.
And then the color commentator kind of just talks about it and talks about Gordon for like a minute. And then it goes through like 3 drivers, and it goes through like maybe 2 other drivers before the Prius Anthem goes on. Now, I don't think that will be in this game. That's just my opinion. I think this is just going to be kind of a text thing, and there's not going to be any voiceover on it. If there is voiceover, I'll be very happy with that. But if there's not, then this is something, again, that they can be able to build on. I want them to continue to build on these things just to make it better. This is a good thing that I like to see, just so I can see what's going on before the race ever starts. And that was one main problem with the NASCAR Heat games, is that you would never know what's going on around you because you don't have a track map, and you didn't have the look around camera, and you just didn't know. Now, track map, I don't know if that's in this game. I'm still gonna hold off on that. I don't, because I've never seen it. I've never seen anyone touch on it. I don't think it is in the game, but it might be in the game, so I don't know about that. But just being able to know what's going on around you with the look around camera, and now the stories mode, just touching on some few drivers, that's better. That's something the Heat games really need to work on, is just to be able to immerse yourself into the race weekend a little bit more. And then we touch on the rivalries part. So they've changed this a little bit. It's gone to kind of like a relationship thing. So you have the reputation, you could have rivals, or you can have friends. It's basically the share, draft, and intimidate feature from the NASCAR 2005 series way back in the day, except you don't press the buttons to intimidate on track. It's just how you race them on track is going to determine if you're a friend or a rival. Now, what's new here, the rivals isn't new, but the friends is new. So if you make a friend, they might let you go, they might move out of your way. That will be interesting. I'll make sure not to make any friends because I don't want them getting out of my way, but we'll see how that works. And then we have all these fantasy drivers. This is from the Extreme Dirt Tour, so I think all these drivers are fantasy. I don't want to assume, but maybe you guys can let me know, but I'm pretty sure these guys are all fantasy. I hope they are. You can make friends, you can make rivals. Hello, Michelle, by the way, nice to meet you. I'll be your friend. And there will be different levels of whether you're kind to them, or they hate you, or you're pissed. And now you'll be able to either compliment them or insult them on social media. The social media thing is something I did recommend it. I wanted to just more immersion, and this is a step again. I don't think it's as fleshed out as it could be, but the compliment and insult thing is definitely a little nod back to Ace Moneymaker in 2005, when you could just like accept the apology or ignore it, and you would have those garage fights. So this is very similar to that as well. Again, pulling a lot of the older details from the old games and putting it into this one with their own little twist on it. So we'll see how that works. We'll see how the compliment and insult thing works. Is it just a text and then their relationship goes worse, or does it actually affect the on-track stuff? Are there compliment and insults that will bring up videos? So we'll see about that, and that's something that I hope to see, is the video context. So if I insult them on social media, then there's just a video clip of Brad Keselowski calling me a dickhead. That'd be pretty cool. And then the last couple of shots are just the drivers, the paint schemes, and stuff like that. So overall, it's definitely, there's more content in this game. I think easily it's gonna be better than NASCAR E2. That's not surprising. They haven't taken anything out of the game, which is nice to see. So let me know what you guys think. Again, I don't think it's gonna be the perfect game, but it's definitely one that will be fun to play. It's gonna be more fun to play for me than I think Heat 2. But Heat 2 definitely helped me with putting my confidence back into devs. So Heat 3 should be a lot of fun. I'm going to be very excited to play it. If you guys want to pre-order it, you can. I don't think pre-order is available for PS4, which is very weird. So if you're looking to pre-order on PS4, I don't think you can. You have to buy it. So that's very odd. I don't know what happened there, but you're going to have to buy it that way. You can pre-order for Xbox. I'll be playing it day one. Obviously, if you guys want to see the NASCAR E3 content, that will replace basically the Heat 2 series we had a few months ago. Once we finish up the Carl Edwards little mini mode season thingy, get Carl Edwards a championship. So I'll see you guys later. Hope you're having a great day. Comment down below what you thought of the game and the video. If you like the video, make sure to hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you're not already, and I'll see you guys later. Hope you're having a fantastic day, and peace out.